Hi there, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for this Women in Cybersecurity webinar. We're so excited to have Rima and Doug here to be discussing our WiCyS Internship Program. So yay, we've been talking about it for quite some time and we are launching it and the applications are opening up this Friday. So we're excited to be gathered here today to share a little bit more information about the internship program, answer any questions, and just take it from there. So my name is Lynn Dome. I'm Women in Cybersecurity Executive Director. We often go by our acronym WiCyS, W-I-C-Y-S, and we pronounce it WiCyS like we sisters because that's exactly what we are. We are a cyber sisterhood. And our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. And we do so by creating opportunities. We have over 5,200 members with representation in over 70 countries. In addition to that, we have 43 professional affiliates, which are mini WiCyS organizations. And they're in Africa, Australia, Canada, France, India, Pakistan, the UK, and all throughout the United States. And then we also have 150 student chapters in which Rima is a president of her student chapter, and we'll be learning more about Rima and her experience later on in the webinar as well. But because our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity, we do so by creating opportunities. So we have an online member forum where all our members can network and connect. Within that forum, we have special interest groups such as Latinas in cybersecurity, neurodiversity in cybersecurity, cybersecurity law, data privacy, cybersecurity sales, you name it, whatever conversation you want to be a part of, you could certainly be a part of it in the special interest groups on the online member forum. We have many different skill development training programs, some new ones we're going to be launching for 2022. So if you pay attention to our newsletter that comes out and all the other information, we roll these skill development training programs out very, very quickly. So all that information is going to be coming out soon with our new initiatives. We have newsletters, webinars, scholarships, grants, and awards, not only for our conference that's coming up March 17th through the 19th in Cleveland, Ohio, but for other conferences as well. Our Cyber Talent Emergency Fund is designed for students within their last 4 semesters of graduating from college to receive up to $599 for true financial emergencies like medical bills or their car breaks down, they can't afford rent, because we want our students to be able to achieve their end result, and that's graduating or being certified with cybersecurity. We have speaking and media opportunities so our members can be what others can see, and that's the professionals that they are. And our Job Board Plus Plus is available for all our strategic partners to post their jobs in, and all our members to update their profiles and upload their resumes. Apprenticeships and internship programs, which internship we'll be talking about today. And we have leadership summits, leadership series, leadership workshops, you name it, we have it galore. In addition to supporting our veterans and our military spouses with assistance programs, and we have our signature mentor-mentee program, which we're really proud to announce for this cohort we're in right now. We have 191 mentors and 775 mentees. So we have all that and so much more on our website. I encourage you to explore that website. And also, if you're interested in the WiCyS conference, it is coming up March 17th through the 19th in Cleveland, Ohio. And our registration is opening up February 7th, so next week. We owe all this as a special thanks to our strategic partners. Are you ready for it? Because I do read all these off. It's my favorite thing to do. So AWS, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon Software Engineering Institute, Cisco, Facebook, Google, Intel, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Optum, SentinelOne, AbbVie, Fortinet, JP Morgan Chase & Company, LinkedIn, Navy Federal Credit Union, Nike, Wayfair, Workday, Accenture, American Airlines, Arctic Wolf, Champlain College, Citi, Dell Technologies, DHS, InvestNet, Flatiron, Haystack Solutions, which Doug is here today discussing the CyberGEN.IQ. We have here Technologies, the Home Depot, IBM, Indiana University, Motorola Solutions, National Cyber League, Oak Ridge National Lab, Palo Alto Networks, PayPal, I can't even read that, RSC, I believe, and then Salesforce, Sands Institute, Schlumberger, SmoothStack, SpearTip, Starbucks, Target, University of California, San Diego, and Verizon. So that is a mouthful, but we love and adore each and every one of our strategic partners, and they are the foundation of all things WiCyS. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you go to WiCyS.org, you'll see that subscribe button. And today, again, we're here to discuss this internship program, and we're also here to answer any questions that you might have about the program. So you see the chat at the bottom of your screen. Start putting those questions in, and we're going to open it up for Q&A at the end of the session. So the WiCyS Internship Program, where we have applications, assessment, and placement, we're so proud to announce that employer partners, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon Software Engineering Institute, Optum, and SentinelOne are now our employer partners. We have a few more employer partners that might be added to this by next week, so stay tuned for future updates. And how we got to this place is essentially, like all good things within the WiCyS organization, it started with a conversation with Rima, actually. We were in a student chapter presidents meeting, which we meet with the student chapter presidents and faculty advisors once a month. And Rima brought up on the frustration that sometimes students experience once they now are ready for this internship placement, where they go to our strategic partner portals, internship portals, and they apply to one, they apply to another, they apply to another. And it's a lot of the same information that they're asking. Sometimes students receive acknowledgement and emails back. Other times they don't necessarily don't. So it could technically get into a very frustrating, round and around experience. And so that was really enlightening to me when Rima shared that during one of the student chapter meetings, and all the other student chapter presidents were in agreement with that. And so they really looked at WiCyS and leaned in on WiCyS on if we could run an internship program. I quite frankly it wasn't even part of our conversation prior to Rima bringing it up to us. So we're really grateful for that feedback. And so I took that information and I put it in an agenda that I discussed with our mission support team. And our mission support team is our tier 1 strategic partners. And I shared with them what Rima and the other student chapter presidents shared with me. And they agreed that this internship program would be a very good idea, where we would have one universal application, and it would be more of a direct pipeline from our student members that are seeking internships to strategic partners that have internship opportunities. So we decided to pilot this program, and that's what we're doing right now. And this is what we're going to be discussing today. It is a pilot, and we offered it to our tier 1 strategic partners, and you see the employer partners that are on the screen, and we're happy to bring this information and this opportunity to you all. So with that, I'm going to end these slides for just a moment, and I would like to hand it over to Rima and then Doug for them to introduce yourselves, and then we'll dive right into the program themselves.
Thank you, Lynn, for that great intro to WiCyS's work and whatnot. My name's Rima. I graduated from UC Santa Barbara as an undergrad back in 2020. But then I stayed there and did a master in technology management and graduated from that in 2021. And now I continue to be a student just because I can't get enough education at USC Gold School of Law, where I'm a first-year law student. So I got involved with WiCyS back in the last year of my undergrad when I was working for UCSB's cybersecurity office. And I was really, excited about the idea of creating a community on UCSB's campus that was dedicated towards cultivating women to get involved in the field. And that's when I found out about WiCyS, created a student chapter at UCSB, and then, now that I've left, it still continues strong to this day. And it's been really great to get involved with WiCyS members all over the country, all over the world, from different student chapters, from the different affiliates, and it's an amazing community. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and a little bit later I'll be talking about sort of the student perspective on this whole internship program, and happy to answer any questions at that point. But yeah.
Love it. Thank you, Rima. Go ahead, Doug.
Hi, I'm Doug Britton. I'm the CEO and founder of Haystack Solutions, and we're a proud strategic partner of WiCyS. And I've told the story a couple of times, but the very first check I wrote once we got our investment was to become a strategic partner at WiCyS. We were very excited about it, and so Haystacks focuses on helping identify people, that everyone who can be in the cyber fight, helping find them and get them into the cyber fight, because the stakes are so high, because there's such loss of intellectual property, simple financial loss, and personal loss that comes from the cybersecurity fight. We need every brain that can contribute to that. We want to help find them and get them into that fight. Whatever your background, technical, non-technical, veterans, coming from all the non-traditional places. That's where we want to be. And so HASTEX is excited to do that, and we think that this collaboration on the internship program is going to, again, put those feelers out there to help identify early talent that it might be hard to find, and help create pathways to getting that into the companies that really need it right away. So really excited to be here, Lynn. Rima, it's been a joy working with you two to get this pulled together, and I'm excited we're getting this piloted, and I know it's going to be explosive growth.
Great, thank you so much, Doug, and we totally appreciate your strategic partnership as much as well. So let's discuss the piloted program. And where we're at right now is that we have those employer partners. I shared that. And I know the top of the screen is cut off, so apologize about that. All it says is the piloted program. So when it got uploaded, it got cut off. So that's all right. The most good information is right here. So that's all we need to focus on. So we did receive the internship requirements from the employer partners. So that is completed. Now we're going to have students fill out one application. So it is a universal application. So we took those internship job recs from the employer partners that are participating in the pilot program. We created one universal application. And so what this avoids is students going from one application to another application to another application, and they're filling out one WiCyS application. So that application is going to be open and available February 4th through the 19th, and it's on the WiCyS website. The webpage is live, and I'll be sharing that URL in just a moment. So the first thing that WiCyS is going to do is, as soon as you fill out your application, you're going to receive a notification to complete your GEN CyberGEN.IQ assessment. It takes roughly 2.5 hours, and Doug's going to be discussing that more. After that, WiCyS will align the roles that the strategic partners are seeking, our employer partners are seeking, along with the highest scores for the domains from the assessment. And then we'll finish up some filtering criteria based on the job requirements. In some instances, we might need a partner interview, so an employer partner interview, to be able to narrow the results down further. And finally, from there, we provide our employer partners with a short list of candidates. And each of the WiCyS applicants will then be notified every step of the way. So what I love about this program is that we're fulfilling the needs of the employer partners. We're building a direct pipeline from our students that fill out the applications to our employer partners. But we also have this CyberGEN.IQ assessment. And we want to leave everyone with that if an internship doesn't happen from the program, you're walking away with something extremely valuable from the program itself. And that's this CyberGEN.IQ assessment. So I'm looking forward to Doug sharing more information about that. And please put your questions in the chat bot for us to be able to answer. So here's the timeline. The website is live. Applications open up February 4th, so Friday. There's going to be a news release that we're distributing announcing the employer partners and the program itself. Applications will close February 19th. There will be no extensions. And we expect that your assessment, your aptitude assessment, is done by that point as well. Again, there will be no exceptions. And we will start the pairing process. From there, on February 28th, employer partners will receive a short list of those members that align with their job recs. And then from there, Doug is going to be hosting a webinar on March 1st to discuss the CyberGEN.IQ assessment results and give you the tips of now what do you do with these results, and how could you align your career according to them. And on March 2nd, we're going to notify all the applications, and then completion badges will be sent to the applicants that complete the assessment. We'll show you a picture of that badge in a moment as well. So Rima, I'd like to hand it over to you for you to explain a little bit about the program from the student perspective as well.
Yeah, happy to. So when we were first discussing, as Lynn mentioned earlier in the chapter president's meeting, ideas for how to get students involved in the cybersecurity field, and how to increase equity for young women in the field. Something that we talked about is that often during the application cycle for summer internships, or even internships happening throughout the school year, there can be a lot of application burnout. Um, I've heard stories, and experienced myself, the the experience of, you're sending out 100 applications sometimes, just crazy numbers, and you don't hear back from anyone. Sometimes you won't even get, acknowledgement letters of, we've received your application, or rejection letters or anything like that. And that can be really discouraging, especially for um, students who are new to cybersecurity, students who don't have a lot of experience, but have a lot of interest and passion. And it can feel like all of your hard work is going into kind of this black hole. Um, so the benefit of a program like this is that there's a more direct pipeline. You have all of these strategic partners who are collaborating with WiCyS already. All of the students who are a part of the WiCyS community really bring something to the table just from being a part of WiCyS, from having that initiative, from having that interest in the field. And the field needs people with that passion. So, as Lynn said, this really goes both ways. And I think this is a great opportunity for anyone, at any point in the student life cycle, to take advantage of, because there's really nothing better for increasing your cybersecurity knowledge and skills and network than doing an internship and getting that hands-on experience. And this is a really, really great way to do that. I'll also say that, the CyberGEN.IQ assessment, which Doug will talk about in much more detail in a little bit, um, is a really, really interesting test and a really helpful um, test to take. And it's fantastic that WiCyS is doing a lot of the work in pipelining your results from that test and helping you figure out what your skills are, what your strengths are, what you're best suited to do, especially because there's so many options in the cybersecurity field. There's offensive, there's defensive, there's pen testing, there's incident response. And so with all of those options, it can be hard to know exactly what to specialize in and what to do. But this test kind of allows you to see, okay, like I have a lot of strength in anomaly detection. I didn't even know what anomaly detection was. Um, but that's incredibly helpful and could be really, really impactful in forming your career. So if nothing else, taking the assessment will be a really, really informative and helpful experience. And just, having this community and this network of like-minded students who are, applying to the program, but also from the strategic partner side, it's a great thing. So I definitely recommend that everyone apply if you're interested, and stay on top of those deadlines. But this is a great opportunity. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rima. And I really like how you phrased that. This is an opportunity to help you navigate through the ecosystem of cybersecurity. We know it's not always a clear-cut pathway. So this is just one more kind of a piece of the puzzle that you could put into place that will help streamline your efforts as you're getting into your cybersecurity career. So we're super thrilled to be able to offer this to everyone, and excited to launch this piloted program. And so with that, I'm going to mute myself once again and have Doug take it away. So Doug, you could control the slide deck as well.
Roger. So again, thank you. Yeah, and we've got a couple of questions that have popped in that I just want to answer quickly. Some of you have seen this before. So if you were in the security training scholarship sponsored by SANS, or if you're in the mentoring program, it's the same assessment. You don't need to take it again. we'll be able to pull those scores in. And there may be, so go ahead, you're good to go, basically, and we'll manage that on our end. You're not precluded from applying, and we'll manage that ourselves. And one of the questions was, does this require cybersecurity knowledge? And that's a great lead-in question, and because no, the answer is this assessment doesn't require any cybersecurity knowledge, and that's one of the things that's really interesting about it. So let me jump in. This was developed by the University of Maryland to help the U.S. intelligence community and military services try and figure out who are the future cyber leaders, looking at the broad population. How do you do that? And you got to look at people that for the most part will not have any cyber knowledge. And what they did was a broad analysis of what are the types of thinking that need to go into different professions. And there isn't one cybersecurity profession. And if you ask the U.S. National Institute for Science, Standards, and Technology, NIST, there's 53 cyber professions. So, we needed to break that down somehow along how people think. So we created an assessment and validated it with our military and military intelligence community partners that focus on. We start by asking questions around 5 different types of thinking: critical thinking, and these are described on the screen, but I'll walk through them quickly. Critical thinking, initiating thinking, responding, real time, and exhaustive. And so intuitively, initiating thinking can be thought of as somebody who's ready to kick down the door. They literally initiate action. And responding thinking is someone who is got the best mindset for being on the other side of a door that someone may kick down. You don't know when, but you have this mental ability for vigilance versus I'm gonna start the engagement. And that goes on the kind of the north and south of our compass. And then east and west is real-time thinking versus exhaustive thinking. And real-time, you can envision some people making decisions in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, even though they have conflicting information, and it's hard to discern, what is right. Do you have enough information? But still, a decision has to be made. And that you have conflicting information, but you're still comfortable making a decision. And the opposite end of that spectrum is what we call exhaustive thinking, which is postponing decision making until you have all the information. So that would be saying, this may take 6 weeks, or this could take 12 weeks, but this answer needs 12 weeks. And that's 2 different mental disciplines. Now, putting this on a compass rose, what we find is if you're strong at initiating thinking and strong at real-time thinking, that shows a strong predisposition for mental agility with offensive operations. And that would be cyber warfare, penetration testing, ethical hacking. If you're strong at real-time and strong at responding thinking, that is a strong disposition towards defensive operations. So security, network security, incident handling, security operations center. If you're strong at responding and strong at exhaustive, that would be, analysis and forensics, threat intelligence, cyber audit and compliance. And then strong at initiating and strong at exhaustive, it predisposes you towards design and development. And that would be someone who's able to look at the void and say, we would be 30% more secure if the walls were 10 feet higher or 10 feet thicker or something like that. Now, critical thinking isn't its own dimension. It sort of acts like nitrous or an accelerant on all of the other aspects. So the critical thinking doesn't predict any one of the particular quadrants, but it's a strong predictor of overall capability. So, and so we've got some examples of how we've done this. So at the University of North Georgia, we helped the Cyberhawks there find students out of the woodwork and help them, grow a team that, when we got to know them, their team was around 30 people, and through close coordination with their leadership, their student leadership, and in a lot of groundwork on their part, we were just one piece of it. We helped them grow that team to more than 250 people, and they went on to dominate the NSA Codebreaker Challenge. And they were also, what we were extremely excited about is they were also able to, increase the female population of that team from 3 people when it was a 30-person team to 50 people when it was a 250-person team. So that was like a 14x increase in the female membership of the team. So really exciting. And the same thing, we helped the U.S. Air Force with cyber warfare operators, and we were able to show, this assessment was 97% effective at predicting who is going to become an elite cyber warfare operator. So, and everyone that completes the assessment as a part of their WiCyS profile will get this badge that they're able to talk about. And at the end of with the number of people taking the assessment for this purpose, we're going to myself and some of the scientists that invented the assessment as a part of the work for the government are going to be hosting a webinar on Tuesday, March 1st at 1 Central, where we're going to go in deep dive on the results. People will be able to send us questions. We'll be able to go through how to interpret things, what these mean, what do we do next, how do we go forward with this, how do I use this to help inform what my career choices might be. So we're really excited to be able to get such an exciting population in WiCyS to take this, because we're at the same time that people will be using this for the internship. Also, we're working with a mentorship program, so we're going to have those joint results, briefed here. So, just wanted to give a quick snapshot of what the reports look like, and this is just a snapshot of the report. You'll get a detailed PDF, or you'll be able to print a detailed PDF out of the assessment that kind of shows you how you scored in each of the dimensions, what your top scores were, and what your cognitive profile looks like, and it'll go into much more detail along how you scored in each of the individual assessments. And then this is an example of, but you're gonna the hiring partners are going to get reports of how candidates did on the offensive quadrant, on the defensive quadrant, on the analytical and design quadrants, and what they'll be able to discern from that is if their position is a defensive focused position, they'll prioritize candidates with high defensive scores, and if they are if it's an offensive or pen testing position, they'll prioritize that way. So and one of the key things that I always need to point out is that the assessment, the baseline for the assessment is 50%. The 50 percentile is an experienced cybersecurity operator, 10 years of experience in the military or NSA. So a lot of people, when they get like a 35, 35th percentile on one of the elements, they feel like they're really bad, and that's not the intention. 35th percentile means you're within one standard deviation of some of the best in the world in a particular dimension, and so but this is not a Lake Wobegon scenario where everyone will score between 95 and 100. It's just I just want to kind of put that out there. There are the midpoint is 50, and the scores are going to oscillate around that, and there's going to be some areas where people do really well and not. But that's the whole goal, is to dig into that, find the areas that where your brain fires naturally, and then if it says that and we'll go into these results in detail on March 1st, but if you find pen testing more interesting, but the test suggests defense, then that's like, okay, now I know what are the set of things that I if that's where I really, really want to be, what are the sets of things I need to practice on. So, but with that, I mean, I look forward to other questions. I see there are a bunch of detailed questions about, you know, the internships, and we'll be able to go into the mechanics around that. But I think most of the questions about the assessment itself. You know, so there is a question on what is a high score for the assessment. You know, 50% or above is high in any one of the quadrants. Super high.
Great, thank you, Doug. And again, we've had lots of questions coming in. We love those. We're going to get to them in just a second. So I put in the announcement section just a moment ago the link for the piloted program. Right now I changed it and switched it to the subscribe form, but either way, you can find it on our website. You see right here, the top tabs have about, join, initiatives, and you'll see under initiatives is the internship, the piloted internship program. So please go ahead and go there and check it all out. The application there's going to be a link for the application there, available starting February 4th. So, and we encourage all of you to continue to join and follow WiCyS. I know you're part of subscribing to the WiCyS Bright Talk channel. We're so grateful for that. But subscribe to our newsletter so you never miss a beat. And we're all over social media. We love the hashtag #SeeHerAsEqual. We also love the hashtag Women in Cybersecurity, because collectively we are the strength within the cybersecurity workforce. And we just want to continue to remain that community and stay strong because of that. And we often say together we rise and together we thrive, because collectively as one woman rises in her cybersecurity career, we within WiCyS reach down and we bring another woman up with us. And so that's the strength and the power of community and what WiCyS brings. So I'm going to fly through all these questions. A lot of them have been answered, but I just want to clarify a few things. The first one is this a remote or online internship? And it really depends on the job rec that we've received from the employer partners, some of them. And in the application, it's that one universal application. It will have you select if the option is there, and it will help us in the criteria when we narrow it down, you know, put that down there. What are the application requirements? Do you need to be enrolled in school? So if you're a student member of WiCyS, because if you've qualified to be a student member within WiCyS, you qualify right now to be in part of this internship program. It's not to say as we scale this program, remember it's a piloted program with a selected few employer partners. When we are done with this piloted program and we grow it, so likely in the summer or in the fall, you're going to see another subset of applications. We're going to open it up to all our strategic partners to be employer partners. So right now, we are keeping it smaller with our piloted program, asking our tier 1 strategic partners to participate. But in the summer or the fall, we're going to have a lot more. So we have over 50 strategic partners. So a lot of opportunity there. And we will likely, as each time we open up the application, open it up more and more for maybe perhaps non-students. And eventually the goal is that we refine these efforts and streamline it, and then start integrating a similar type of process into our job board plus that currently exists as well. So please participate in this internship program. But as part of being a WiCyS student member, don't miss out on the opportunity to either launch your own student chapter or join a student chapter or update your profile on the job board plus, upload your resume, like continue to do everything. Keep the momentum for you going strong. We're just creating different pathways and different opportunities, but don't zero in on one. Take advantage of all things that WiCyS has to offer. Because for $20 annual membership fee, look at all that you have access to. So be sure you hone in on that and don't lose sight of that. So I'm gonna mark that as answered.
One other thing that occurred to me, Lynn, I just want to jump in.
Yeah.
We are providing a pathway to the specific strategic partners that we mentioned that shouldn't be read as precluding you. If there's a specific opportunity with Bloomberg UC that you want to apply to, you're not precluded from that. The strategic partners have agreed to set some of their positions aside and use WiCyS members for those, but it's not their entire pipeline. So, you know, so don't. We've tried to make it easier, but please, you know, we wouldn't want you to think that, well, I couldn't apply directly. You're certainly welcome to.
Absolutely. Thanks for clarifying that, Doug. I appreciate that. So, Rima, I think this question goes over to you. If the results of the assessment are not good, what advice do you have for students to stay encouraged and have structured learning to improve?
Yeah, I think building off what you and what Doug just said, keep the momentum for yourself. Don't let yourself get discouraged if you don't get an internship in this round. Um, there's plenty of opportunities all around you um, to get into the field and to expand your knowledge. I would also say something that's really, really helpful is just continuing to build your network. So keep going to different events where you can learn more about the cybersecurity field, about contemporary things that are happening. Go to workshops. WiCyS has workshops all the time. Really lean into the WiCyS community and the WiCyS space because there is so much happening all the time, and really you get out what you put in. So the more you engage, the more you initiate different learning opportunities, the better off you're going to be. So yeah, that's my big takeaway is just don't get discouraged, keep trying, keep going, and something will pan out because there is so much need in the industry for people who have the passion and who have the drive um, to make a cybersecurity career happen. So just don't lose steam.
Yeah, it's really good. I often say I was just interviewed yesterday, and they were like, "Okay, if you have one thing that you could leave everyone on this interview with, what would it be?" I said, "Just dive right in. Just dive right in, because cybersecurity is an ecosystem you have to navigate through. So is going into your pathway, getting into cybersecurity. So just no matter how you enter into the program, through the internship program, through the mentor-mentee program, if you are awarded a scholarship for the security training." If you join your student chapter, just show up for yourself because you're investing in yourself and your future. Grow and expand your network and just keep going strong because of the opportunities that lie ahead in your network. This is where I found my place in my career. And so we hopefully build out these programs for everyone that's joining us here today to find your place in your career. Because WiCyS is where you belong, and we're all here to help you, support you every step of the way. So is this internship open to young women only or non-traditional students pivoting into cybersecurity as well? Non-traditional, I mean, that's what our community is comprised of, says, young students, older students, any way that you could enter into cybersecurity. We're here to accept you and have you join efforts with us to get you into the career that you're looking to achieve. Can graduate students participate? Yes. I already have a humanities degree. They changed my career to cybersecurity, actively studying with certifications. So college age, what's considered college age? If you're accepted as a WiCyS member in the student category, you will qualify to apply for this internship. And again, in the future internships, we're going to open it up to many more, perhaps job changers that aren't a student and things like that. But for right now, for the piloted program, it is specifically for WiCyS student members. Is the internship only for students? Okay, we answered that. Okay, we answered that. Can I get the link to fill out? Can students apply who are not a paid WiCyS member? No, it's a WiCyS member benefit for that. So, but you could join on our website. It's WiCyS.org under join. That's where you could become a WiCyS member. So there's still time for you to become a WiCyS member, get your WiCyS membership in place, and then apply for the program on February 4th. Can I get the link to fill out the application? I will go ahead and I'll share it in the announcements section again. So I'll do that in just a moment. Are full-time employees able to participate? It's students. There's a lot of questions here, so I'm just kind of like rolling through them. Doug, Rima, are there any that stick out for you that you would like to answer?
I see a question that we kind of addressed throughout the session, but I'll just quickly touch on it. So is the internship program available for students with little to no cybersecurity experience? That's kind of the point. So if you have no experience, don't feel dissuaded or intimidated at all. You know, the CyberGEN.IQ test will help employers figure out if you're, you know, well suited for certain types of roles. And a lot of the benefit of doing an internship is that you get on the job training. So especially, you know, at the college level and the undergrad level, employers aren't expecting you to have a ton of experience or knowledge about the ins and outs of cybersecurity, and so they'll train you on the spot. A lot of the time. So yeah, don't feel intimidated at all if you don't have experience.
Wait, you're muted, Doug. Whatever you're saying looks fabulous, but we can't hear you. And thank you, Rima, for that response, for addressing that question. No, we can't hear you. No. I'm good at reading lips, but not that good. I wouldn't be able. So while, no, not now either. So are internships available for community college students? Yes, please apply. So that's good for that. I kind of have a previous, let me see here. I feel like we've answered a lot of these questions that have come in, and we've lost Doug. Oh no. So that was probably a poor connection.
Anything?
Yeah, now we could hear you.
Lovely. So there was a question regarding how long the assessment was. And if you sit down and do, you know, total time at keyboard on the assessment, if you do it cover to cover, is about 2.5 hours, but you're able to break it up into, it's 14 discrete sections that, you know, take between 5 and 10 minutes each. And you're able to do those, you know, you could do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like every night, and then you're done. Or sit down and knock them all out. And we don't, you know, our assessment doesn't care how you do it. So that's it.
Doug, that brings up a really good point. I think we had this question before, is how can people prepare for the assessment? And really the preparation that we discussed is well rested, well fed, ready to have the time just to set aside and devote this time and attention to yourself. And any other tips or pointers you have?
Yeah, that's really it. It's an assessment you can't prepare for, in that it is not knowledge based. So there is no thing to study. There's no thing to study. It is what is, in scientific terms, it is purely an aptitude test. It is going to make your brain fire in certain ways and measure the responses and measure how you respond. And there's no knowledge I can give you beforehand to help you do better. And that's how it is, exactly how it's designed. And your brain's going to hurt a bit afterwards, and that's the point. Unfortunately, it has to exercise your brain. So yeah.
So get ready for a hurting brain.
Yeah, get ready to do the thinking. And what we've found, the reason that this assessment has worked is because even for the non-technical aspects of cybersecurity that are not strictly software development or reverse engineering, there are many aspects of the profession that are very cerebral. You're constantly thinking. You have an adversary and you're engaging with an adversary, and it requires, you know, very dynamic thinking. And so what the research found is that the types of thinking that these assessments stimulate rhymes with and aligns with the type of thinking that these different professions require. And these were the areas that were type of thinking that were most predictive in those areas. So that's how the test came together.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that. So do non-US students can apply for this? Yes, you apply. If you're a student member within the WiCyS membership, apply for these applications, we do narrow down the criteria based on the criteria that were provided for the internship job requirements. And so some might have a U.S., are they a U.S. citizen? We're not, aware of that right now, but we do narrow it down through the criteria. So it's not going to stop you from applying for the internship opportunities. And what we do is we provide our employer partners with the short list based on their criteria. So our employer partners get this short stack of WiCyS members that really align to that job requirements. And they also get the CyberGEN.IQ assessment results, and they get your resume. And if you do submit a cover letter, they'll receive that as well. So that is what they get. And through their selection process, then they'll invite you to go through their, so likely you'll have to then get asked to go through their internship portal and go through their process. Like that's how they're going to get you into the system and get you interviewed and all that stuff as well. So it's a way for us to help them make a selection process and then move forward because of it. So let's see, having a career, tell someone who scored high. So Doug, there's having a career outcomes from this assessment been mapped to the CyberQ results yet, or is it still too early to tell someone who scored high? Do you see that question pop up? Can you speak to that?
Is this, which question?
It's at the bottom. It just literally came in.
Have the career outcomes for this assessment been mapped to the CyberGEN.IQ results? Yeah, no, so that's exactly, so what we have shown is that someone who has, scored really well in, for example, analytics, that was predicted to score well in analysis and forensics because of a strong, a responding thinking and strong exhaustive thinking. We've seen the results. They excel in that profession. So yeah, that was the underlying research that was validated at the university, and that continues to get validated in industry.
Great. Well, I am scrolling through some more questions here, and it seems like we answered them all. That yes, you have to be a student member. Any type of student member is accepted to be able to take it. You will all receive the assessment results, and if you follow through and complete the assessment, you'll be invited to the webinar that's taking place on, is it March 1st or March 2nd? Everyone.
March 1st, yeah.
March 1st. Yeah. You'll be invited to the webinar, and it seems like we got it all covered. So we're super excited, the WiCyS organization, to be able to put this internship program. We're so grateful for Rima and the student chapter leaders that brought this need, this gap that they felt needed to help bridge over to the WiCyS organization, and that we were able to partner with Doug and the Haystack Solutions team to bring the CyberGEN.IQ assessment to this program and make this program a reality. So here we are, the piloted internship program. We've been talking about it for 6 months. We're finally launching it. February 4th, the applications open up. And Rima, I think since everyone here you could speak to the most, what would be your final words that you would leave with everyone that's on the call here today, like how to kick off your cybersecurity career? What are your final words for everyone?
Yeah, I think I'd just say engage. I think Lynn put it best earlier with just dive in. Don't be intimidated or afraid. I know that imposter syndrome is really, really big in this industry, especially because there are so many smart people in it. And you can feel like, oh, what do I know? But, the industry needs you, and that passion that you can bring to the table is something invaluable. And if you fail, try again, just keep going, because you will find something for you in this field and something that really lights up your world with a lot of excitement. And there's nothing better than that, finding a career that really brings you a lot of enjoyment and a lot of challenge in, a positive way. So I'd say just absolutely engage, any opportunities that you see, any people that you want to talk to, people who you see, on LinkedIn or at different workshops or different events like this, where you're like, oh, I really want to know how that person got to where they got. Um, there's nothing wrong with just sending them a message and saying, hey, I think you're really interesting. I'm a student and I would love to learn about your career. Do you have some time to chat? And, the worst thing they can say is, no, I don't have time. What have you lost from that? You haven't really lost anything. So I'd say, don't be afraid, be fearless, and just engage with all of the opportunities that are out there for you.
Great. Yes, I like it. Like, let's collectively light up your world for you to be in alignment in the career that you want to be in. So, and we're thankful for you all taking the time and the attention out of your busy, busy days to learn more about the program. Rima, Doug, appreciate you both so much as part of the WiCyS community, and it's great mentors to me and friends along the way. So if anyone has any more questions about the program, you can email info@wicys.org. You can connect with Rima, Doug, myself on LinkedIn, and let's just continue to move forward, keep the momentum going strong. So to Rima's last point about reaching out to anyone that you aspire to be or you're really interested in their career, everyone loves sharing their story. And anyone part of the WiCyS community, we're here not only to advance in our own careers, but also to bring others along with us. And so it goes full circle. And that's what makes WiCyS so unique, is to that pay it forward. So anyone a part of our community is willing to pay it forward for the next generation to enter into their cybersecurity as well. And that storytelling and story sharing is a really critical piece. So don't hold yourself back, dive right in, and keep it all going. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.